3 days in, Tom, I think one thing we can say for certain. This is Peyton Manning's team.
Yep.
This is Peyton Manning's crowd.
That's correct.
And on September 9th, when the Broncos take the field at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's going to be Peyton Manning City and State.
Yeah, and he hasn't played a game yet. Neil, the reason that he can do that is because of the way that he works. And what really struck me today is that when they put those pads on, because the first couple of days, we watched them in what we call shells, a nice timing, kind of the pro trot, everybody's just kind of working the kinks out. He put the pads on today, and he went to work, and he threw the ball better than he did the first 2 days he was here. And I think we have to remember, if you were a person out there, whatever profession you're in, and you hadn't been able to do your job for 18 months, and you came back, suddenly you would be so fired up to go out and work again. And that's what I sensed about Peyton today. The ball had amazing zip on it. Everything was accurate. He was at an up-tempo in everything that he was doing. I mean, it was just fun to watch. It was fun to watch.
And when he would complete one, you'd hear the crowd, oh, and he'd turn around, oh. Manning's famous for, his checking down at the line.
That's right.
You know who's famous also for checks of a different kind? Stefania Bell and her checklist. Stefania?
Despite all the superlatives we've heard about Peyton these first few days, he still has a couple of items to check off on his road to recovery, and they're not going to happen here at camp. The first is endurance. We've seen up-tempo practice, but what happens when he has to go 4 quarters, then 4 weeks, then 4 months? And we're not just talking about arm strength, but we're talking about a 36-year-old quarterback who's been away from the game for over a year. And second, practice is a controlled environment. The next challenge is having to react when you have defenders in your face, when you're trying to throw off balance. And those short crossbody passes can be harder on the arm, especially when you're out of position. We always say that the final phase of rehab is competition because that's when you get to check those final items off the list.
So, Tom, do you think endurance will be a problem for Peyton Manning, or is he in tune enough with his body that he'll know where he's at?
Well, I think it's always a question after double days and when you get ready to play again, and he's got to, shake off probably a little bit of rust as they go through the preseason. And I'm going to be one of those people who's still waiting for him to get hit and get back up. I'll feel better after that happens. But I think when you play, one of the advantages that it's going to happen is that when you play for this football team, people come in here at altitude, a mile high, you're always going to be in better shape than the opposing team.
I went for a run the other day, saw Tom.
It's crazy.
I said, you weren't kidding about that altitude thing. Hey, we're not kidding. We're all business here. It's Broncos training camp. You're watching it on SportsCenter. We're here through Sunday.